Can see my screen. Uh, so yesterday, what have we discussed? Uh, Aruna, can you just uh, go through that stuff? Like, what did we do in the yesterday session? So we have gone through this conditions thing, right? While, do while, if condition, and then only thing is, yes, where do you have to use this? Is depending on uh, the situation, like wherever let's say if a logout button is appearing, then only you want to close on the logout, or you want to capture the username just beside that element. So uh, that way, if you have those kind of conditions, yes, you can use this one. And then repeatedly, if you want to do some task, something, specific number of steps repeatedly, if you wanted to do, then in the loop, yes, you can do it, but based on what condition, when it should execute and when it should not, is what we have seen. And while, do while, only difference is loop executes one time, at least once, and then the condition is checked later in do. But whereas in while, first the condition is checked, if it is satisfied, then it goes to the loop. So this was the one which we were discussing. So before we start on a new thing, yes, Aruna, if you have anything to share, yeah, you can share your screen.
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So I have written four test cases on registration. That is,
Right.
the first thing is without giving the credentials, I try one, and the other one is giving the invalid credentials, and the other
Mm-hmm.
one is a proper thing, and giving the same credentials again, duplicate
Okay.
one.
Okay.
So let me execute this. But I hard coded the values. I'll do even that part.
Right. Right. So today I will show you how we can get the values from Excel. I'll even show you that part. Once that Excel is done, the next would be like from TCD.
Mhm.
Clicking on register, and then
It's invalid.
in- right.
It's a valid one. So it is continuous. So with this window, I'm unable
Yeah.
to log out here.
Okay.
So my next thing, I need to do explicitly just log out.
Right.
Still, it will take. I clicked login again. That's that's the reason it got failed. But for me,
Right.
it is going to success. So do you understand my problem, right? I'm unable to close that. So do we need to explicitly close that one? Like, do we need to?
Yes. Yeah. Can you click on that link again? The pop-up. You have that key icon in the status bar, right? In the status bar, you have that first icon. Can you click on it? That key icon. Oh, shoot.
I don't get you. Where are you asking?
Uh, like I want that pop-up again to appear. So to appear,
Okay.
you have you can just click over there uh, on the status bar. Yeah, yeah, that one. Just above it. Yes, click it. Okay. This is a different one. Uh,
It,
fun.
it is not that when I registered that thing, so it is
Right, right.
asking save the credentials.
Yeah, yeah, that save pop-up. So if you have that save credentials thing, then we would have uh, what I would say is, oh, if we have that window, then we have something called this window operation. So if you
Yes.
could just only execute that third test case, I would say, not
Yeah.
all.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
I,
that's fine.
uh,
So you can take even screenshots. So wherever you are just verifying in on a general thing, we also take screenshot. So that is what, again, we create a library and then we call that library take screenshot thing, and that's it for
yes,
every
yes,
verification or
I
this.
have taken, I have a lot, I think, because I'm
Uh,
executing again and again. Yeah,
right.
here we, yeah, this one, save
Yeah.
password thing.
If you can just stop it here, stop execution. See here, it should stop. That's why if you just execute third one, it would stop that
Uh-huh.
part. So we get that window, and then yes, we can operate, work on that window is what I was telling about.
Okay, okay, got it.
Or manually you had to do. So I would prefer not to do manual much of a time.
Mhm.
Just
Can you take my control?
here
We,
I don't see that access if I would have. Mm,
synchronize. Will it automatically take the value if I update it there in the test case?
yes, it will.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You don't have to click synchronize, but it's a good habit if you just feel like okay, uh, if something is missed. Most of the time, yes, it takes. Uh, click on logout.
Oh, that's right. It is automatically taking. It is not allowing me to pause that.
Uh, you shouldn't be executing that step itself. I would select the next further step. So
Uh-huh.
where exactly you are getting only that number of steps. If you just execute just before that is also fine. The other ones, or you can disable it and then make sure it is
Yes,
not
yes.
going to
I
the
am
next thing.
doing the same thing. So here, uh, I click on register and the post condition also. Click on continue. After this, log off. I supposed to disable this one, right?
One quicker thing would be if here for logout, you can use just X. So even if it is behind, it locks off and then it closes. So
Just X.
yes, just X. Even if
Uh-huh.
something pop-up is coming up, it doesn't care about that and it clicks on that element which we are pointing. And here as well, can you just disable this close demo, else it would close the page. We don't want the page to be closed.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm doing it manually from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here you need to put condition. If logout appears, then click
Mm.
on logout and then start the uh, next steps, which is your registration or login, whatever you want to do. So the condition. So that's what I said yesterday as well. You would get these conditions only when you keep doing it.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Got you. I
So
thought this way,
here,
like whenever we open the application, I supposed to do the refresh or giving this URL again. I thought in that way, but yeah, it's a good idea.
yeah, depending on applications, it is like it that keeps changing. So some applications, once you close the browser or the tab, it doesn't allow you to get the logged in screen. It would give you login screen only, not after login. So on some applications, yes, it keeps that way, depending on what security type of that application is. And since this is just demo and kind of public everyone to use, so they are just keeping this login as it is. But some applications, if you just close the login tab or something again, it would ask you to log in again.
Yeah.
uh, so here if you see this thing, save password, so we would want to click on never. I guess even if you try to scan it, you won't get it, right? Once, can we try it?
Yeah.
Please, we don't get that. You see, save passwords. Save password, yeah.
So every time, can we get these pop-ups here?
Uh, Depending. Wait. Click on condense. See if you are able to click on this never. Select this never or save. No. No. It's giving that page only and not this pop-up related elements. So this
Yeah.
pop-up save password. Okay, just go back. Let's go back and close this. Yeah, Xcan, close it and go back to your Tosca.
Mhm.
Search, go to the test case. Yeah, in one of this test case, right click, search for search step, and then search for a module called tbox. What is it? Window operation. Tbox window. Window operation. Click this and open that step where it is. You have mouse clicked, I guess. Again, you have to search. Okay, here. So tbox window caption, you give click on tbox window operation first, the above step.
Mhm.
Yeah. Here in the value section for the caption, give what is that? Save password, right? Can we see it again? S is capital or small?
To that screen, you
Save.
mean?
Yes.
Save.
Save and then password. So save star, you just put save star, which is fine. Yeah. And then operation, in the window operation, can we see what options are you getting here? Yeah. Click in the value section. Value section. Yeah. So bring to front, close. So if you click on close, select close and run this step. See if it is closing that pop-up. See.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
you can add this step.
Okay, so whenever any pop-ups are there, we can scan explicitly only that pop-up, and we can use this
Correct. But we haven't scanned it. We
window
we
operation.
haven't scanned. It was like that is
Ah.
browser specific, not an application. If it is in the application thing, yes, we could have
Mm-hmm.
scanned it.
Can,
But
yeah.
then this is browser related. So this is from Chrome, right? So that's where for such explicit things, Tosca has given this part as well. So we can use this tbox window operation. If you see, explore the other options as well. It is
Options.
close, wait for something, bring to front, uh, and then maximize, minimize, wait on close, wait on open. You have other options as well. So this basically verify window exists. So if the window exists, then only we want to close, right? We can even put that. So this thing not only to those pop-ups, even to our tab, even to our title that we open. So sometimes, let's say if it is uh, it's
You
not
mean this?
maximized. Yeah, this demo. So this thing, even that demo is now uh, what a window. Now that window, what are we doing is, if it is minimized or if it is not maximized and you want to maximize, so you can use this caption thing. Caption say demo star or demo web shop something, the title of that page, and then to that particular thing you would also say I want to maximize it or bring to front. If it is behind some other pop-up, some other screen, I want to first get this thing on the screen, or wait for this particular window to appear. So
Pradeep,
anything.
can you share show one thing on that?
Okay. So here, let's say you are using this demo workshop, and it is this way, let's say. Now in this thing, this is not maximized, right? So if I want to maximize it, how I can do? So in the test case, what we have to do is we have to call tbox window operation. And in here, the caption of our page, I know it starts with demo. If you have the exact one, give the exact one, else give some partial thing. And then here, I would say we can bring to front. Then we can say bring to front, and then we can also say uh, wait on till open it is. So it's like you can use multiple properties. I would say first wait and then bring to front. The first thing, wait on open. Second thing, bring it to the front. And third thing, if you want to close, you can even do this, but I would say move to center sometimes. But I would prefer, I just want to maximize it. If you would see, I would want to have some other screen, right? Now, if I execute this, what it does, you see. So I have Firefox window and the demo window is behind that. So what it does is it brings to front and it maximizes, you see. Uh, so what it did is it has performed all these operations. So it was first waiting for this particular caption to be opened and it was successful. After that, we had also asked for bring that window front. The front window for that at that instance was this one, but then what it did is it got this one and then it was minimized. So the next step was to maximize. So it has also maximized. This is what I was talking about. Is it clear?
Yes, Pradeep. I'll play
Yeah.
remaining things.
Yes, yes. Okay then. So now I wanted to explain about this getting data from an Excel now. So we have seen passing the data within Tosca test cases itself, right? Within the step, which is not a good practice, but we have used again the buffers. So from buffer data is what we were passing. So from here we were passing. Let's say even if we are not passing, we are not keeping it here, and from somewhere else if we want, we can use Excel as well, for instance. And now how we can get that Excel thing is we'll write this first thing, cell this. So what I will do is first thing, Oh, okay. So I have one Excel here at this location. Yeah. So I've created one Excel, let's say. Alright. I've created one Excel with sheet one and then username, password, and some sort of status is what I will be keeping it. Save this one. So one column. I have put this one here. Now, same way, your username, passwords, you can keep in some Excel, some location, and then that thing, if you want to read the data from this Excel, how we can do. So to do that, what we have to do is in our test case, so we have some modules related to that Excel, which is Tbox. If you see here, X engine, and then in Excel, we have this open Excel, close, define, create, all these things. So we will use this modules to interact with this thing and get the thing sorted. So first thing is we want to read any Excel thing. First step is to open an Excel. So here we will say open. When you say open, we have multiple things. We can just say open Excel workbook, which is coming from this location. Module standard Tbox Excel workbook. So this is my first step. The first step, click here and then uh, what are this one? So first, as I said, let's take this thing. First is open. Once you have opened, uh, what else we have? So we can define Excel range and then Excel range manipulation. So next is we have to define the Excel range from where to where you want to consider those Excel uh, range. So because you know huge number of data, yes, we can store, but then do you really need that complete thing? If it is, then we need to specify. So first row, first cell, from here to the last row, last cell, or some specific thing. I'll say, okay, till L and till 20 row, only this 20 row, just consider this many things. The rest I don't want to consider. So that range, whatever we are using it, we have to specify that range here. And after the range, we have Excel range manipulation. So which means, again, this is the main module wherein in this step we would try to get the data related to the cells, get or write or set anything. So with this part, and then once we have done with all of this, you can what close the Excel work. So our steps would be mostly this one: open Excel, define what the Excel range is, then the range manipulation wherein you would try to manipulate the data, be it reading or writing, whatever it is, and then close the Excel. First thing, what do we have in open Excel workbook? So workbook name is what we need to specify here. So the name of workbook, I would say this is my anything you can give. I'll say W1 is my workbook name. You need to give specific thing. You are trying to read the data of a login sheet and then login Excel with the sheet, right? So you can give relevant name as login workbook. You can say login workbook and then path where that Excel is stored. This Excel is stored in this location. So I'll copy this thing from here. I'll paste it here. So my Excel is this. Do you want to create a new? So if you want to create a new with this workbook name at this location, you want to create a new. If it is, say yes. If you don't want to create a new, you say false. And any password protected, you want to keep password protected, or if this Excel is any password related thing, you can uh, enter it here to open that workbook. And the next thing is open as read only. So if you just want to open an Excel file only in read only mode, then give true, else false, or leave it blank. Uh, don't use it.
So we
So
can also create the Excel from this page.
yes, from these modules we can create Excels as well.
Okay.
So yeah. The next thing is Tbox define Excel range. So once we have opened the workbook, we have to next define the range from where to where we want to consider. So workbook name, we had already given the workbook name. So throughout our test steps in this test case, the workbook name has to be same. So when you're opening one workbook, the same workbook, opened workbook related only, you want to do some range, some manipulation, some closing, everything, right? So related to this workbook only you would be doing it. So wherever it asks for the workbook name going forward, even this one, uh, there is range, and then closing, see, it asks for workbook name. So workbook name, we know it is W1. So we have to give that. So in here again, workbook name, instead of changing, so workbook name now you have written W1. Let's say going forward you would write it W10, W100, something like that. So you have to come here, change the name here, and then here, and here. So sometimes you might forget, okay, you might not click it here and then you might do it, but when this step gets executed, this workbook is not there. And once this workbook is not there, it gets failed. So since the workbook name has changed, so in general real time scenario, how we tackle this kind of thing is, so workbook name as well.
Business parameter.
So workbook business parameter, not a business parameter. Where do we use that in a library. For a library we use that business parameter, and we call that library. Whenever we are calling that library, there we have to pass the business parameter. But here we can set buffers. We can do some simple set buffers. So before doing this, create take tbox set buffer, and then you would say workbook name, my workbook name, something, some variable you create. There you write W1. My worksheet name, so sheet name is something else, or whatever. So define those parameters or the variables, what are you going to use throughout your test case at one common place, which is like this one. So here you would say W1, a worksheet name, workbook name, worksheet name. That values you would give W1, W2, whatever you want. And uh, then after you would perform these steps. And in this step, you would call, you instead of writing this one, you would say buffer, curly braces, buffer of what variable name you have, say worksheet, workbook name. So everywhere you would say curly braces of workbook name, curly braces of workbook name. Now when a workbook name has to be changed, you have to go change in your uh, set buffer. In the set buffer, if you change it to W1 to W100, that's it. You don't have to change anywhere else. Your test case open would take that buffer is already reading the new value, so new value would be coming. Even this range, new value would be coming, same way. That is how we just generally do it. uh, so here, yes, define workbook name. So we have given the workbook name. Now the sheet name. So we know the sheet name is this one. So we want to operate on this sheet, so that's where we give the sheet name. So we would specify the sheet name, and range name, again just like workbook name, we need to specify the range name. I would give for now R1. And then data range. So start cell, end cell. So here, as I was saying, start cell would be A1, first first row, first column, A1. And then if I say 20th in I, so if I click, so you see I20. So my starting, just some range we are setting it initially, we have to set it. So I would say A1 to I20. So it would just consider that range, and then based on that range, what are we doing is what it would perform that kind of operation. So what is the next range name? We know range name is R1. And now data table. Data table is just like our table thing. So with rows and columns, right? So same way, assume this is then column, right? This is first one would be your column, and then the next, all these are your rows, right? So in this thing, what is that you want? First thing is, first just some random data I would get. So in row 2, cell is nothing but column. Column is also 2. I'll say row 1, column 2. I just want to what do I want to do? I'll just buffer what data is coming. I just want to buffer it. You can say this is data from Excel is coming. So this one for now, and then close workbook. I've just given this one, and then path. Do you want to save in the same path? Yes, I would want to save in the same path, so I will keep it the same. I'll close this before execution. I have to close that. So last modified you see today at this time, right? Okay. Now if you see, I'm saving at the same thing and save, yes, true or false. I want to save. So I'll say true. That's it. So I want only this particular things to happen. Now if I execute the whole test case, it would perform those kind of things. You see what it has done, opened successfully, then range is updated successfully, Excel range. And then in this, if you would say buffer with name data from Excel has been set to value 123, and then it has closed the work. So this Excel, so you see last modified, it is just a while ago. So it has modified this Excel, and if you would see like close saved, we said, right? So first row, second column, we said it to keep this one. That is where it is giving us this data. Let's say we had another data. Something like this, and we saved it. So that is what here. Now you wanted from first row, second column, data from here. Like again, another row as well, data if you want. I would also see what is there in second row, first column. I'll just keep it as it is, and I'll just, so make sure to, when you are dealing with Excel, that Excel, whatever you are asking to open to Tosca, first you need to make sure you have not opened that Excel in your system. If it is, then it throws error saying the Excel is already opened thing. So here if you see the next row, second row, first column data is Pradeep. Just now I've added it. So that is where we are able to add. Now same way you can add, you can also what verify some data. Let's say I want to just check in the first row for the first cell if the value is verify if it is ABC, or in the second row and in the column name, I know the column name is status. So status, I want to say passed. I just want to send some value to that Excel. So what all things I want to do is what we can specify here, and then we just execute this test case. So you see, this is passed. Now, if you just open the Excel, you see here, we have done this, and then this passed. This passed thing, it is coming from Tosca at this particular location. For this record, we said for the status column at the second row, put this as passed. So it is adding that thing. Same way here as well, pass, fail, anything you want to. It is just an example, but yeah, some data from application, as I said, if you want to store some buffer data, uh, some ID, some purchasing, some shipment, anything, order ID, order number, those things, any buffer data. Buffer is temporarily, right? But then that if you want to pass it to someone else, so in Excel you can store it this way and then save and then send this Excel to other people. Or this Excel, if it is at a common shared place, yes, they can even read that data. So through Excel, we can do this kind of operation, opening and performing all this uh, things. So now here, same thing uh, in our test case, how we can use this. So if you see here, so same test case, I'll just copy, I'll create, paste it using Excel data. So I just want to use Excel data, but then here, uh, I buffer this thing. So email ID, password is what I'm looking for, right? So these things I can pass in here only. So I say pradeeptawalji@gmail.com and password I would store here. You can just put this one. So I'll just keep the password in this thing and then the status. So this, what I will do is in my test case, so I need this value, Pradeep Dawalji, and I want this password. Let's say I don't want email here only, but these two things, let's say I want only from Excel. So what what do we do for that particular thing is just before this, we need to perform all these things. So inside this, I will say fetch data from Excel or data setup, anything you can say, depending on what you want. And then in this, I'll I will use so yeah, I want this Excel and then this workbook name in this range manipulation. I don't need all this stuff. What do I need is I need the data from username field for the row number. So we have different rows. I want say third row. So from third row, cell is what? Give first cell, or why we don't prefer giving cell these things is numbers. Now let's say username, this is at first, but let's say if I add something extra, now first cell, if I say, we would get this one which is empty, but not what are we looking here for. We want username, but username is in some other column. So column has been changed, right? So in that case, you shouldn't be giving uh, the numbers. So try avoiding giving numbers. So wherever possible, just try to specify or point out to that particular data by its name. So here we know by column name we can do it, and column name I have a username. So this has, you need to make sure you are giving the proper one. If it is not there, then it might throw some error. Such column is not there and you are trying to access the data from that. So I want username to be buffered, and this one in username if I want. I'll keep it that way. And then in same third row, I also want the password. So here I would specify password. Password also I want to buffer. So I have username, I have password, and then it closes this thing. So once it closes, here, so email ID, you want value. So instead of this value now, hard coded value, I would use buffer of user name. And even for the password, same way, buffer of password. So here I'm just giving it in the test case itself. But even if you want this one, keep store in this thing and then get the data. So now, yes, the rest, everything remains same. We are not doing anything to that. Only thing is how we are getting the data is what it is differing. Earlier we were using within Tosca, within set buffers, but now we are getting that data from Excel. So from Excel and then fetching it to your test case, and then it is using. So now if you would execute it, this would go as it is, whatever you have given it. So let me just show you, for instance, save it. This is some detail. File run. I'll close this. See, you save this value. Now this value, whatever data you have got, that has come from an Excel and not somewhere else. So now if you wanted to change the username, go open your Excel and then change the username. Change the username of from your in your Excel and close this. I would change some username here and then save it and then now execute. So if I execute, oh, wait, did I save it? Right. Okay. Here, if you see, we are expected the Excel value and actual was this, but where we are entering, where are we entering login? Log into this thing. So here we have hard coded, you see. So that is why I say shouldn't be hard coding the steps. So here I've given the proper correct email ID and password. But then uh, instead of this, what I should have done is buffer of username. And then this one as well, buffer of password. Because we are storing username and password in this variables. Nowhere we have now hard coded. You can say buffer of username password, or you are already storing it an email ID and password instead of that, if I have to say. So in here, not this one, I will say, because again, both are same. We are changing one variable value to the other one. It is that way we are passing. Or if you just remove this one and then you are already storing in buffer of username and password here itself, or you can say email ID and password. You don't have to create another thing, but it's okay. Like you can create this kind of thing, different variable you have created, and then to a different variable, you are assigning that value, and then throughout your test case, you are using that value. And now if you would execute it, it would log in with the Excel data that you have set. See, it is failing because what username it has entered? The one that is coming from Excel. So that is being entered. That's why it is failing. So go to your Excel and change it. So to make it work, that is how it is coming. So this is the only thing that you would get. So what data you have got from Excel, if you would see username and password are set with this. And then this steps were performed successfully, and then email ID value has been set to this value, the one that you had said username, and the one you have set password, or Excel username, Excel password you can say, and that Excel username you are sending it to email ID, Excel password you are sending it to password, something like that. So just try to link that particular hub. Only thing is understand this concept. That's it. So if you understand this concept, it is very easy. Uh, So this is about Excel, how we can, so after execution, let's say after execution, since this test case has passed, right, at the end, if it reaches, let's say here after get display username, okay, displayed username, I want to send in this Excel. If I want to send it in Excel, how would I do? Uh, Another thing is, if I don't close it here, Excel range manipulation. Okay, I'll try to do multiple things here. One is, so display username, I won't close it. I'll see if it works. So I'll open the workbook, I will do these things, I will read data, and after that I'll perform these things. So in the post condition, log out, and after post condition is done, I want to So what I want to do is I want that range, and then here. So this steps you need to open Excel, reading range, or entering, fetching username and password, getting data, username and password. So that clear steps you need to write to understand. So with this step, we won't be able to understand what are we doing exactly. But if you write proper step name, you can understand, read it. So here I said I want to uh, send the data for let's say fourth row, and cell I have not created any column. I would say okay, in some $6, in some $6, I want to get displayed username. It is storing in this buffer of what? This user account email, right? So this value I want to send in Excel, let's say. So here I would buffer of this value that I want to save in Excel. So what are we doing? We are trying to input data to that Excel. So inputting this value in this row and in this column. So when this step gets executed, it would see what this value is. What this value would be, this value is coming from this step. This value, whatever it does, that step a value would be carry forwarded and come here, and then that value comes here. That value would be input to the row and column for this Excel. Excel range already opened, it is defined. So to that Excel, it would be there. So one is this. Another thing again, as I said, after execution, successful execution, or this one, I would get, I'm saying I would get, and then as soon as I've got, I would just write in Excel. So I'm writing it this way. And then after that part, next thing log out I'll do, and then in here I know I'm getting the data from third row. So third row, and then column name, I know it is status. So status. It is status, and I would say input. If everything goes well and precondition process is executed and the post condition, even click logout is done, post condition close browser is also done. Once the test case is completed, at the last step, I am saying if it is completed, I would mark in an Excel saying it is passed. The test case is passed. Test case passed. Something, some identifier for my purpose. So again, this requirement, if it comes, basically we won't get kind of these things, but yeah, similar kind of things, if you get, you can relate it. So once the test case is passed, I want to mark in that Excel for that particular row that it is passed. So I can do this way, and then after that I will close the Excel.
Pradeep, there you are saying pass hard coded. So if it is failed, still it is saying like passed, right?
No. So if it is failed, so when something is getting failed, you won't come to this particular step. If something it is failed here, Tosca doesn't go and do this things, right? As soon as it gets failed, Tosca execution thing gets stopped over there, right? You might have observed it, or let's say you just check that one as well. You write say username, password, you I think you are able to get it, right? So
I
when
I remember I have observed like if my one of the step is got failed, it jumped to the other one.
if it is verification step, it jumps. But if it is something else, like you want to click on login button itself is not there, and then you are saying to log out, it won't go to log out because first login thing itself got failed, right?
Yeah, that is not going to happen. Then next step will be failed.
Right. So that is what here pass thing, yes, we do it this way. For the failed one, I would explain you. So if it is failing, how we can identify a test case is getting failed. So in Tosca we have something called recovery scenarios. So recovery, through recovery we can uh, get to know, and then when something recovery is triggered, we can assume okay, step has failed, and then you can update in an Excel saying the test case is failed. Like that you can do. For now, if it is reaching to the end, then which means it is passing, it has executed successfully all the steps with all the things, and then it is fine. So now if you just execute this one, so should I would give correct data instead of wrong. Okay, so let's execute. Let's see. So not only that thing, any data from application, just buffer it and then store in this Excel if you want. You can do. Say it is executed. Now if you open Excel, you see test case pass status. For this record, I said status mark if everything goes well, test case pass. So it has done that. And also before that, to some row, to some column, I said it to user account, right? We said user account. So that user account value has been sent here. So is it clear, guys?
Okay for now, Pradeep.
Right. Nawaz, I hope it is
Yes,
clear.
sir. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, again, you can watch this recording again in case you want anything to refer. So yeah, I'll upload this one immediately. But then yeah, this is how we read data from Excel and then pass to your test case. And yeah, something if you want, you can do it this way. Any doubts, anything you want to ask?
No.
If not,
No.
then yeah, we are good to close today's session. So tomorrow, what I would be doing is I'll be explaining for what is this test case design, how we can get that, and then after once we have this test case design, we have this TDS test data service, the Tosca server that we had installed. So that I would be explaining that TDS test data service is more important, I would say. So nowadays, many companies they are following test data service and they're asking if you guys have experience on that part. So I would explain that thing as well. Uh,
Okay, Prince.
okay. So if there are no further doubts, we are good to close today's session. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.